There is a weed growing across tropical Asia that increases collagen production by nearly 78%, more than any serum, more than any supplement, more than any injectable on the market. It spreads so aggressively that a single cutting creates a permanent supply in 5 days. Indian healers have documented it for 2,000 years, and yet Western dermatology ignored it for a century. The collagen industry generates over $10 billion annually selling you peptides and powders. Meanwhile, this plant grows wild in drainage ditches. At the end of this video, you will know exactly how to grow this plant on your windowsill, extract its active compounds at home, and never purchase another collagen product again. Walk into any restaurant in Colombo tonight. Watch the table next to you. They will be eating a fresh salad of finely chopped green leaves mixed with chili and coconut. This is not spinach. This is not lettuce. This is Gotu Kola, and it is one of Sri Lanka's most beloved dishes. They call it Gotu Kola Sambal. In Thailand, street vendors sell a bright green juice from morning until night. Tourists assume it is some kind of spinach smoothie. It is not. It is Nam Bai Bua Bok, made from the same plant, consumed for energy, clarity, and skin that glows. In India, they call it Manduka Parni. Traditional Ayurvedic practitioners have prescribed it for 40 different conditions: wound healing, skin inflammation, mental clarity, nervous disorders. The documentation fills thousands of pages in texts that Western researchers never translated. Here is the first clue that something went wrong. You know aloe vera, you know turmeric, you know green tea and vitamin C serum. These ingredients sit in every Western skincare aisle. But Gotu Kola, used by more people for skin health than all those ingredients combined, barely exists in Western consciousness. Most Americans have never heard the name. The problem begins with fragmentation. Sri Lankans call it Gotu Kola, Indians call it Brahmi or Manduka Parni, the Chinese call it Ji Shui Kao, Thai speakers call it Bai Bua Bok, botanists call it Centella asiatica, Western databases call it Asiatic pennywort or tiger grass, 6 names for one plant. No unified identity in English. When a plant has no consistent name, it has no consistent presence in research databases, skincare formulations, or marketing campaigns. The fragmentation was not intentional. The result was erasure. Compare this to collagen peptides. Same molecule regardless of source, same name in every language, same branding across every product. Everyone knows collagen. It appears in every beauty store and pharmacy. Gotu Kola never received this unification. It remained foreign in each separate encounter, never familiar, never integrated, never understood. The ancient record tells a different story. In India, around 300 CE, scholars compiled a text called the Sushruta Samhita. This is one of the oldest surviving medical encyclopedias in human history. Gotu Kola appears prominently in its pages. The text describes using the leaves for wound healing and skin conditions. 1700 years ago, Indian physicians understood this plant's value. Another classical text called the Karaka Samhita classified Gotu Kola as a Madhya Rasayana. This is a designation reserved for herbs considered rejuvenating for the mind and body. Within Ayurveda, this classification represents the highest tier of healing plants. It was the equivalent of a 5-star rating in modern terms. In China, the plant earned legendary status. Legends speak of a healer named Li Qing-yun, who reportedly lived 256 years by drinking tea brewed from Gotu Kola and other herbs. Whether the legend is true matters less than what it reveals. The Chinese considered this plant so powerful they associated it with immortality itself. Gotu Kola appears in the Shenong Herbal, a pharmacological text compiled in China over 2,000 years ago. The plant has distinctive round leaves. Ancient healers noticed these leaves looked like the shape of a human brain. This observation aligned with the doctrine of signatures, an ancient belief that herbs resemble the body parts they are meant to heal. Indian practitioners taught that Gotu Kola develops the crown chakra, the energy center at the top of the head. They believed it balanced the right and left hemispheres of the brain. In India, the plant earned another name, tiger grass. The reason is remarkable. Wounded Bengal tigers were observed rolling themselves in patches of gotu kola to heal their wounds. Villagers noticed injured tigers seeking out these specific plants. The tigers knew something that Western science would take centuries to confirm. France officially recognized gotu kola as a medicinal drug in the 1880s. French colonial physicians in Madagascar documented its wound healing properties. They incorporated it into the French pharmacopoeia. For a brief moment, the West acknowledged what Asia had known for millennia, then silence. The 20th century arrived with its pharmaceutical revolution. Patentable molecules became the currency of medicine. A plant that grew wild in ditches could not compete with laboratory compounds that generated licensing fees. But here is what matters most for understanding this plant. Gotu kola spreads with a ferocity that borders on aggression. A single plant produces long horizontal stems called stolons that extend up to 250 centimeters. These stolons root at every node where they touch soil. Within weeks, a single cutting becomes a carpet of new plants. And take a healthy 4 to 6 inch segment of a runner, cut just below a leaf node, place it in moist soil or even a glass of water. Roots develop within 10 to 14 days, sometimes faster. The plant does not wait for permission, it simply grows. Gardeners in tropical climates often consider gotu kola a weed. It spreads into lawns, around foundations, through flower beds. They pull it out by the handful. Meanwhile, consumers in those same countries pay premium prices for collagen supplements shipped from factories across oceans. Now let us examine what modern science has finally confirmed. In 1999, researchers published findings in a study that would change everything. They tested asiaticoside, the primary active compound in gotu kola, on wound healing in guinea pigs. Topical application of a 0.2% solution produced a 56% increase in hydroxyproline. Hydroxyproline is a direct marker of collagen synthesis. The same treatment produced a 57% increase in tensile strength. The wounds healed faster. They healed stronger. The collagen content increased measurably. This was not folklore. This was laboratory science published in peer-reviewed literature. In 2020, Indonesian researchers published even more dramatic findings. They tested a cream containing 10% gotu kola extract on human subjects. After 4 weeks of application, collagen levels increased by an average of 77.89%, nearly 80% more collagen from a plant that grows like a weed. The active compounds responsible for these effects have been identified precisely: asiaticoside, madecassoside, asiatic acid, madecassic acid. These molecules belong to a class called triterpenoids. They work by stimulating fibroblasts, the cells responsible for producing collagen in your skin. The stimulation is not subtle, it is dramatic and measurable. Research published in 2024 in the journal Pharmaceutics confirmed the mechanism. Gotu kola extracts enhance collagen synthesis through multiple pathways. They increase type 1 collagen production. Type 1 collagen is the most abundant form in human skin, tendons, and bone tissue. The same research documented anti-inflammatory effects and antioxidant protection. Studies using human dermal fibroblasts showed that both water-based and alcohol-based extracts of gotu kola increase type 1 collagen and fibronectin synthesis. Fibronectin is another critical protein for skin structure and wound healing. The effects were consistent across multiple research methodologies. The compound asiaticoside, at concentrations of 30 micrograms per milliliter, induces genes associated with skin cell proliferation. It promotes skin cell migration, attachment, and growth. These are precisely the processes that slow down as we age. These are precisely the processes that the collagen industry claims to address with expensive supplements. Clinical trials on human patients have confirmed what laboratory studies suggested. In one trial, 170 patients with diabetic wounds received oral capsules containing 50 milligrams of asiaticoside 3 times daily. Compared to the control group, the treatment group showed significant increases in wound contraction at every time point measured. The treatment also suppressed scarring. Diabetic wounds are notoriously difficult to heal. The impaired circulation and metabolic dysfunction of diabetes creates wounds that linger for months or years. Standard treatments often fail, yet a compound from a plant growing wild in Asian ditches accelerated healing measurably. Another study tested a Go-To-Cola hydrogel formulation against commercial wound healing products. The hydrogel enhanced wound healing 15% faster than the commercial cream. It healed wounds more than 40% faster than untreated controls, 40% faster from a plant extract. The applications extend beyond wound healing. Asiaticoside has been shown to prevent the formation of keloids and hypertrophic scars. These are the raised, discolored scars that form when collagen production goes into overdrive during healing. The compound works by increasing the activity of immature collagen and myofibroblasts in a controlled manner. A placebo-controlled study tested a compound cream containing Go-To-Cola extract on pregnant women at risk of stretch marks. Fewer women in the treatment group developed stretch marks compared to placebo. The mechanism involved stimulating maturation of scar tissue through production of type 1 collagen in a controlled manner. Korean researchers have taken particular interest in Go-To-Cola over the past decade. Seoul National University published multiple studies examining the molecular pathways activated by the plant's triterpenoids. They discovered that asiatic acid specifically upregulates transforming growth factor beta, a signaling protein essential for collagen deposition. This finding explained why the plant works so effectively on aging skin. The same signaling pathway that declines with age is precisely what Go-To-Cola activates. In 2022, a team at Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok conducted a randomized double-blind trial on 60 women aged 40 to 60. Half received a serum containing 5% Centella asiatica extract. Half received a placebo serum. After 8 weeks, the treatment group showed measurable improvements in skin elasticity, hydration, and wrinkle depth. The researchers used sophisticated imaging equipment to document the changes. The before and after photographs showed visible differences that even untrained observers could identify. Japanese cosmetic scientists at Shiseido Laboratories have quietly incorporated Centella asiatica into premium product lines for years. They call it CISA, derived from the botanical name cicatrix, meaning scar. The Korean beauty industry followed suit. Walk through any cosmetics district in Seoul today. You will see Cica creams, Cica serums, Cica masks on every shelf. The Asian beauty market recognized what Western markets missed. They simply gave it a catchier name. This pattern requires explanation. Every benefit that Go-To-Cola provides threatens an existing industry. Consider the scale of what is at stake. The global collagen market was valued at over $10 billion in 2024. Industry projections estimate it will reach $26 billion by 2033. That represents annual growth of 11%. Every year, more consumers purchase collagen supplements, collagen drinks, collagen creams. The collagen supplement market specifically reached nearly $6 billion in 2024. Analysts project it will exceed $13 billion by 2034. These are not small numbers. These are industries employing thousands of people, generating billions in shareholder value, funding research that supports their products. Now consider the economics of collagen production. The industry relies on complex extraction processes. Animal hides, fish scales, and bone matrices must be processed through multi-step hydrolysis. Purification requires specialized equipment. Quality control demands laboratory testing. Cold chain shipping prevents degradation. Every step adds cost. Every step creates barriers to entry. A farmer with a backyard garden cannot compete with this infrastructure, or so the industry believed. Go-To-Cola breaks this model. The plant requires no processing for topical use. Fresh leaves can be crushed and applied directly to skin. Dried leaves can be steeped as tea. Simple water or alcohol extractions concentrate the active compounds. No factory required. No patents are possible on crushing a leaf. The research funding tells the story clearly. Search PubMed for collagen supplements and you will find thousands of studies, many funded by industry. Companies sponsor trials that support their products. Positive results generate marketing claims. Marketing claims drive sales. Sales fund more research. The cycle perpetuates itself. Search PubMed for Centella asiatica collagen. The numbers are smaller. The funding comes primarily from university research grants in India, Korea, and Thailand. Government institutions in Asia fund these studies. Western industry money flows elsewhere. One comprehensive review published in the Indian Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences noted this explicitly. Despite extensive studies over decades on the active components and mechanisms, the research outcome remains unsatisfactory. More scientific data are needed to justify the plant's increasing use. The researchers called for more funding, but the funding did not arrive. The naming fragmentation compounds the problem. A researcher studying Centella asiatica might never discover studies published under Mandukaparni. A database search for Gotu kola can miss papers indexed under Brahmi. A scientist investigating tiger grass may remain unaware of Ji Shui Kyo research. The knowledge exists in fragments that never connect. The regulatory structure amplifies these barriers. Collagen supplements face scrutiny around health claims, and compliance costs for labeling requirements vary by region. Large corporations can afford regulatory navigation. They employ legal teams and compliance officers. Small-scale growers cannot. The complexity favors industrial players who prefer patentable inputs over plants that spread without permission. Consider the business model of the supplement industry. Companies sell monthly supplies. Consumers purchase repeatedly. Quarterly earnings depend on repeat transactions. Shareholder value increases with customer retention. The entire financial structure depends on ongoing consumption. Repeat purchases drive profit. Gotu kola threatens that model fundamentally. Plant it once and harvest indefinitely. A single cutting in a window box provides leaves for months. Those leaves can be propagated into more plants. Those plants can be shared with neighbors. Within a year, an entire community could be growing their own supply. No repeat purchases, no shipping costs, no corporate intermediaries. This is a direct disruption. The collagen industry faces additional supply chain vulnerabilities. Raw materials come from animal sources, bovine hides from cattle operations, marine collagen from fish processing waste, and porcine sources from pig farming. Each source faces potential disruption. Disease outbreaks affect cattle, overfishing depletes marine stocks. Religious and ethical concerns limit porcine acceptance. Vulnerabilities are real. Gotu kola faces none of these vulnerabilities. The plant grows in tropical and subtropical climates worldwide. It requires no animal inputs. It propagates from cuttings without seed purchases. It tolerates poor soil and partial shade. It adapts to local conditions with minimal intervention. None of the usual supply shocks apply. This is not conspiracy. This is economics. Companies invest in research that supports their products. They do not invest in research that makes their products unnecessary. Universities pursue grants from available funders. The funders favor patentable interventions. A self-spreading plant cannot be patented. A simple leaf extract cannot be protected. The funding flows elsewhere. The research follows the funding. The knowledge gaps persist, but the plant waited. It always waited. Gotu kola has grown across Asia for millennia. It survived empires rising and falling. It survived colonial extraction. It survived industrialization. It survived being ignored by the most powerful cosmetics and supplement industries in history. And it is still there, still growing, still producing the same triterpenoids that increase collagen by 78%. Weighted and resilient, you can grow it yourself. Gotu kola thrives in USDA growing zones 7 through 11. This covers the southern United States, coastal California, and equivalent climates in southern Europe and Australia. The plant tolerates a range of conditions once established. Grow it where the climate allows. Start with cuttings rather than seeds. Seeds require patience. Germination takes 30 to 90 days under standard conditions. Some seeds require 12 weeks or longer. Cuttings root in 10 to 14 days, sometimes faster. Use cuttings for speed. Find a healthy plant at a nursery or herb supplier. Snip a 4 to 6 inch segment of a runner, cutting just below a leaf node. Remove the lower leaves. You can dip the cut end in rooting hormone, but the plant often roots without it. Place the cutting 1 inch deep in moist potting soil. Space multiple cuttings about 6 inches apart. Water consistently. This is the critical requirement. Cola does not tolerate dry conditions. Keep the soil evenly moist. Daily watering may be necessary for potted plants. The plant can actually grow directly in shallow water or boggy areas. If you have a pond or water feature, Cola will thrive at the margins. Critical, keep moisture steady. The ideal soil pH is slightly acidic to neutral, falling between 5.5 and 7. While Cola tolerates full sun, it performs best in partial shade. Think of where it grows naturally: forest edges, stream banks, dappled light beneath tree canopies. Recreate these conditions and the plant rewards you. Ideal placement is dappled shade. Once established, Cola spreads rapidly. Those horizontal stolons extend outward, rooting at every node. A single plant becomes a patch becomes a carpet. You will find yourself giving away cuttings to friends and neighbors. The plant has no interest in staying contained. Spreads easily. Harvesting begins once the plant is well established, typically 3 to 6 months after planting. The leaves are ready when mature, green, and approximately 1 to 2 inches in diameter. Use clean scissors to snip individual leaves or small clusters. Avoid over-harvesting. Take no more than 1/3 of the foliage at a time. Allow the plant to regenerate between harvests. With proper management, a single container can provide continuous harvests for years. Use the leaves fresh in salads. The flavor is mild and slightly bitter with herbaceous notes. Add them to smoothies, blend them into vegetable juices, or steep dried leaves as tea. The traditional preparations remain effective because they work. For topical use, crush fresh leaves into a paste. Apply directly to skin as a mask. Leave for 15 to 20 minutes before rinsing. The active compounds penetrate the skin directly. No extraction required, no processing needed. For a more concentrated preparation, create a simple tincture. Fill a jar with fresh leaves. Cover with vodka or another high-proof alcohol. Seal and store in a dark place for 4 to 6 weeks. Strain out the plant material. The resulting liquid contains concentrated triterpenoids. Apply topically or add small amounts to creams and lotions. The leaves also store well when dried. Spread fresh leaves on screens in a warm, dry location away from direct sunlight. Allow to dry completely over several days. Store in airtight containers away from light. Dried leaves retain potency for a year or longer. You can also create an infusion oil for daily skincare. Take dried Cola leaves and place them in a clean glass jar. Cover with a carrier oil such as jojoba, sweet almond, or coconut oil. The ratio should be approximately 1 part dried leaves to 4 parts oil. Seal the jar and place it in a sunny window for 2 to 3 weeks. Shake gently every few days. After the infusion period, strain through cheesecloth and store in a dark glass bottle. This oil can be applied directly to the face and body before bed. The triterpenoids absorb slowly through the night while your skin regenerates. For those living in colder climates where outdoor cultivation is impossible, indoor growing offers a reliable alternative. Use a wide, shallow container rather than a deep pot. Cola spreads horizontally rather than growing deep roots. A window box or seed tray works perfectly. Place near a bright window but out of direct afternoon sun. Supplement with a grow light during winter months when daylight hours shrink. Humidity matters for indoor plants. Dry indoor air during heating season can stress the leaves. Place a tray of pebbles and water beneath the pot to increase local humidity. Mist the leaves regularly. Group multiple plants together to create a microclimate of higher moisture. Watch for yellowing leaves. This typically indicates either overwatering or underwatering. Check the soil moisture before adding water. The surface can dry slightly between waterings, but the soil should remain moist at root level. Drainage holes are essential. Standing water causes root rot quickly. Fertilize lightly during the growing season. A balanced liquid fertilizer diluted to half strength works well. Apply every 2 to 4 weeks from spring through fall. Reduce feeding during winter when growth slows naturally. Propagation becomes almost automatic once the plant establishes. New runners extend beyond the pot edges. They dangle searching for soil. Simply place a second pot nearby. Guide the runner onto the new soil surface. Pin it down gently with a small stone or bent wire. Roots develop within days. Once established, sever the connection to the mother plant. You now have two independent plants from one original cutting. The mathematics of this propagation deserve attention. Start with one plant in January. By March, that plant has produced 3 rooted runners. Each of those runners can be separated, and now you have 4 plants. By June, those 4 plants have each produced 3 more runners, and now you have 16 plants. By September, 64 plants. By the end of 1 year, a single cutting can theoretically produce over 200 individual plants, each one producing leaves, each one synthesizing the same triterpenoids, each one capable of further propagation. Compare this to the collagen supplement model. One bottle lasts 30 days. One bottle costs between $20 and $60 depending on brand and quality. 12 bottles per year. $240 to $720 annually, every year, forever. The expense never ends because the supply never becomes self-sustaining. Go-To Cola inverts this equation entirely. One plant costs $5 to $15 at a nursery. One plant becomes 200 plants within a year. 200 plants provide more leaves than a single household could ever consume. The excess can be dried and stored. The excess can be shared with family and friends. The excess can even be sold at farmers markets to offset the initial investment. This is the economics that the supplement industry does not want you to understand. They profit from scarcity. They profit from complexity. They profit from your belief that collagen must come from a factory. Go-To Cola proves otherwise. Every time a stolon roots at a new node, the economics shift further in your favor. This is what resilience looks like. Not serums shipped from laboratories across continents. Not supplements manufactured in industrial facilities. Resilience is a plant that returns every season without asking. A plant that heals your skin, builds your collagen, and propagates itself while you sleep. The question was never, why did Asia hide this plant? Asia hid nothing. Sri Lankan families eat Go-To Cola sambol at every gathering. Thai street vendors sell the juice openly on every corner. Indian Ayurvedic practitioners recommend it to patients daily. Chinese medicine shops stock dried leaves on open shelves. The knowledge was always there, always public, always available. The question is, why Western systems failed to notice? Why billions were spent on collagen supplements while a backyard plant could replace them? Why 78% collagen increases remained unknown to populations spending premium prices for 5% improvements? The answer is not conspiracy. The answer is structure. Economic systems see what benefits economic systems. Research follows funding. Funding follows patents. Patents require control. Go-To Cola cannot be controlled. It self-propagates. It spreads through stolons. It roots at every node. It becomes wild. It becomes free. What cannot be owned cannot be sold. What cannot be sold cannot be marketed. What cannot be marketed does not enter consciousness. 3 generations of Western consumers grew up without ever hearing the word Go-To Cola, not because anyone hid it, because no one profited from revealing it. But you know now. You know that the highest collagen-stimulating plant exists. You know that it spreads from cuttings in days. You know that hundreds of millions of people consume it weekly. You know that modern research validates ancient applications. You know that you can grow it in most climates with minimal effort. You know that one cutting creates permanent collagen infrastructure. The supplement companies will not tell you. The skincare industry will not tell you. The dermatology establishment will not prioritize plants over procedures. The information threatens too many revenue streams, but the plant does not care about revenue streams. It cares about spreading. It cares about rooting at every node. It cares about establishing itself wherever moisture and warmth permit. For 2,000 years, Go-To Cola has pursued this single agenda. It will continue for 2,000 more. The wounded tigers knew. They sought out this plant instinctively. They rolled in its leaves to heal their wounds. They trusted what their bodies told them. Perhaps it is time we did the same. This is Secrets Beneath Nature, and we will keep uncovering what the world forgot to tell you.